for another good old-fashioned audition advice video. Today, we're talking all about self-tapes, how to make one, and how to make it stand out in a good way. And I'll show you how to do it with some examples. I've been lucky enough to work with and learn from some incredible casting directors for Netflix, Disney, off-Broadway. I've been behind the table assisting with casting for commercials and musicals. I love this stuff, but I know from the other side how scary it is. It is so intimidating to audition, so I love sharing any advice that helps make the audition process a little bit less terrifying. Also, if this is your first time seeing my face, hi! My name is Kat. I really like musicals. If you really like musicals, hit subscribe to join the musical theater internet cult. Self-tape, I thought you said scotch tape. I gotta cancel those orders. Thanks to Backstage for sponsoring this video. We'll hear more from them later, but first I want to hear from you. Question of the day, what's the biggest struggle that you currently face when you're making self-tape auditions? What's a hurdle you encounter? Is there a specific part that you need help with? Let me know in the comments down below. Personally, my big issue with self-tapes is that you have endless opportunities to re-record and get it perfect. And then soon enough, you realize you're on take 170 and it's 2 a.m. So share your self-tape struggles in the comments down below. If one of your issues is finding auditions to self-tape for, we've got an answer for that, and it's today's sponsor. Do you ever wish you could submit self-tapes from a profile that also showcased your other headshots, demos, and reels? What if from that same profile you had access to tons of resources and articles on all things acting and entertainment? Now what if I told you I had an all-in-one solution to the very specific questions I just asked you? Well, if that were the case, we'd be sitting here talking about Backstage, which we are. Pranked you, got you. Because Backstage is the best way to find your next audition. Backstage has tons of different auditions, not just for theater, but for modeling, music videos, short films, voiceover, TV, film, streaming, and everything in between. Backstage is for everyone, everywhere, as far-reaching as worldwide casting calls, and as local as work-from-home opportunities. Backstage is an incredible resource. It's a great tool that I highly recommend to all creatives, especially if you're not sure what the next step is. You love performing, you love acting, you want to take it to the next level, but you're not sure how to take your first steps into that world. You're not sure how to find auditions. Backstage is the perfect tool to get you there. So if you want to check out Backstage, they created an exclusive discount code just for us. You can get your first month of Backstage for only $5 when you sign up using code CAT5. Click the link down below or visit backstage.com and use code CAT5 when you sign up to get your first month of Backstage for only $5. Thank you to Backstage for sponsoring this segment, and thank you guys for checking out our sponsors. And now, back to the video. Okie doke, let's get into it. Let's talk about self-tapes. So real quick, what is a self-tape audition? A self-tape is where you record your audition on camera and then that video gets sent to the casting team. Sometimes it serves as the first round of auditions, sometimes it serves as the audition itself, so knowing how to make a great self-tape is pretty crucial. So let's talk about it. For filming, if you have a camera or access to one, great, you can use that. If not, your phone camera is totally perfect. Make sure to flip it horizontally and shoot with the back camera because it'll be way higher quality. You're gonna want the camera to be about eye level with you. Sometimes self-tapes will have specific directions on what they want the framing to be, like full body or whatever, but most of the time it's usually like your head and your chest. A big thing to be aware of is not moving around too much. Keep in mind your framing and make sure that you don't accidentally move out of view of the camera. Also, when you're performing material, you don't want to look right down the lens of the camera. You want to look slightly off to the side. For filming self-tapes, you definitely don't need a whole fancy setup, especially when you're first starting out. When you're ready to upgrade, my first investment would probably be in lighting and then a backdrop, but film with what's available to you. I promise you, your phone at home with natural light from a window is more than perfect. Speaking of lighting, you want to be lit. Like totally lit, bruh. Skibbity skibbity. You want nice even lighting on your face, so be sure to face your light source. Because if your light source is on your side, it's going to end up creating really harsh, distracting shadows across your face. Speaking of distracting, let's talk about backgrounds. You want to make sure that the background behind you is as blank and uninteresting as possible. You can film against an empty wall. Some people hang up bed sheets and that makes an awesome DIY budget-friendly backdrop. Also nice and easy if you want to switch out colors. characters, but you want that background to be as non-distracting as possible. You don't want to compete for attention with the other things in frame. Especially after watching the same material over and over again, it can be really easy to just kind of let all the auditions mishmash into one, or to glaze over and get distracted by something in the background. You don't want the most memorable thing from your self-tape to be, oh, she was the girl with the red sofa, right? So everything that I just mentioned about wanting your backdrop nice and non-distracting, the same applies for your clothes and styling. You and your performance should be the stars of your self-tape, not your amazing outfit or really sick hairdo, even though I'm sure they're awesome. But again, you and your performance want to be the most interesting thing in frame. In terms of what to wear, you can totally dress to suggest the character, but please, please, please do not wear a costume. I feel like back in the old days, it was very required to wear like a plain solid color t-shirt or like a little A-line dress. You can be a little more flexible with your outfits, something that shows your personality, something that works for the role. Sometimes for a self-tape, you might need a reader, which is basically another person who's standing behind the camera and playing all the other characters in the scene opposite you. If you're reading with someone, you want to have your reader behind the camera, but to the side so that your sightline and they are close to the camera, but not directly down the barrel. See how uncomfortable this is? Nobody likes this. So don't do it. Try to make a real connection with your reader. I think a lot of the times, especially online, it can feel like people are just yelling at us instead of trying to connect with us as the audience. So being able to create that chemistry and make that connection and show that is beautiful and so crucial. My absolute #1 biggest piece of advice, if there is one takeaway from this video, let it be this. Do a test shot. Can you tell that it's become personal and that I've been burned by not doing a test shot or two? When you're ready to start filming your audition, do one take, stop, and then watch it back. Make whatever adjustments you need, whether it be physical or like an acting adjustment. Check your hair, check the angle, check the lighting, whatever. Fix it up, and then you can get back to filming. Because there is nothing more frustrating than finally finishing a day of filming only to realize that you had a completely fixable mistake in the back of all of your footage. A jacket or a lipstick that you might love might look super bizarre on camera, so check it out first. Another big piece of advice that I feel like I shouldn't have to say, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention it, follow all of the submission instructions perfectly. If you don't, sometimes casting directors will straight up just trash your audition and never watch. Because A, you're creating more work for them on the back end, and B, it shows that you can't follow instructions or at least don't care to. Same thing goes for in-person auditions too, like make sure you know the audition requirements and what they're asking and looking for. That's like the quickest way to eliminate an actor, is someone who doesn't know what's going on. Not a great first impression to make. When you're performing the material, take your time. Stand with confidence with your feet planted. Don't rush. It comes off as nervous and very amateur. You've got this. Show the team that you can run the show and that you're a professional and they can trust you to do your job. However, on the flip side, don't try to milk every line for all it's worth. You kind of milk it so you can stay on camera longer or do more acting. Don't do it. It ends up reading disingenuous and undersells your acting talent. So just act like you normally would. Those are just a few of my top self-tape audition tips. Please share yours in the comments down below. Thanks again to Backstage for sponsoring this video. Go check them out, find your next audition. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. If you're new here, hit subscribe and join the musical theater internet cult. I hope you're having a great day. I love you so, so much. Break a leg, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!